The Chinese Foreign Ministry mourned the victims of the Japan earthquake that happened on New Year's Day. However, the comments all criticize it for being too soft on China's enemy, Japan. Has the CCP been surpassed by its own product of ultra-nationalism, that the CCP lovers now criticize its master for not being nationalistic enough? Welcome to China Insider, I'm David Zhang. I can't believe we've come to this day when the official CCP government stance on Japan is not hardcore enough, according to CCP nationalists. On New Year's Day, Japan experienced powerful earthquakes, and today, the Foreign Ministry of China offered condolences and mourned the victims of Japan's earthquake, which took the life of at least 84 people at the time of this recording. However, the comments on this video all criticize the government for being soft on Japan. For example, this one says, "Don't help them. The deranged Japan will do something ungrateful soon." Another one says, "Japanese people are sworn enemies of Chinese people. History cannot repeat itself." Or this, "The historical bloody feud stands between us. Even humanitarianism has to be selective." And this is one, my favorite, being the, of course, most representative of the radicalism here. "What rights do you guys have to forgive Japan? All the martyrs won't allow it. All the patriotic Chinese people won't either. Please find out who the traitors are." This is so wrong to us. Japan, or whoever, is suffering from the tragic earthquake, yet thousands of comments online showed zero compassion. So what exactly do these comments express? Well, their hatred towards Japan, even if it means a natural disaster. They cannot offer any sense of humanity. Before we continue, here's a sponsor segment.
There's one supplement you want to get incorporated into your diet. It's a good omega-3 supplement. It's the best all-around defender for your health. It reduces inflammation, cholesterol, improves eyesight, and reduces risk for heart problems, as well as helps with joint pain, among other benefits. Today, I want to introduce you to Puritan's green vegetables. Puritan gets their ingredients straight from the high mountains of South Korea, and the omega oils are extracted from purslane and perilla seeds. It's 100% vegan. Now, personally, I've been using Omega for about 9 years, close to 10 years now. I've recently switched to Puritan for about a few weeks now. Here's why. We mostly get our Omegas from fish, right? But that's not the best case for everyone, especially there's the aftertaste. It might not be suitable for vegetarians or vegan. So the most important part, right, we often forget is the actual concentration for Omegas. Puritan soft gels have a much higher content for Omega-3, 6, 7, and 9 than many of the brands out there. And some say that they notice there's less hair loss, more energy, lower cholesterol levels, and overall improved health. I think the best part for me is the lack of inflammation, or the reduction of inflammation. Other brands also they use this high heat method to extract the oil, which in turn creates a lot of harmful byproducts. Puritan's green vegetable is done using a patented method of supercritical carbon dioxide low temperature extraction, so it preserves the natural properties and maintains high purities. First of its kind. So get it for yourself or as a gift to your loved ones ahead of the holiday season. Use my code DZ2023 and you can receive free shipping globally. Check out my link in the description and comment today.
While the rest of the world mourns the loss in Japan, China stands as the country that is haunted by hostility. That's of course because of the constant brainwashing and its directed hate, which is used by CCP propaganda. But this time, it might have backfired on China. Now, the abomination that's known as Little Pink or Home, what pro-CCP nationalists are called in China, it's purely created by the CCP propaganda over Japan, the United States, and the West. While you could say that this is the continuation of decades-long nationalistic feud, I think it is evolving into a fundamental mental issue in China. Now, this is what happens in the Cultural Revolution. You're getting a glimpse of it in real time. Now, there's always somebody who is more red, extreme, more radically communist, more revolutionary than what's already existing. You will be replaced and forced to repent for not being radical enough. And the next step is Feng Chao experience. The masses fighting the masses. The rule of law suspended, and in its place, the law of the masses. And those radical masses are further attacked by the even more radical mass. So today, you're here doing the struggle session. Tomorrow, you'll be on the chopping block for the same crime. Sound familiar? Well, some of you will be commenting like, "But David, Japan murdered millions of Chinese people." Yes, the Nanking massacre was bad, Japan invading China was bad, but that was in the past. History is being weaponized by the extreme leftists that is the CCP for so long. It's being propagandized, used to generate hatred purely for the sake, I guess you would say, directing the attention away from the government itself. Mao Zedong, on multiple occasions, 7 times actually from what I can find, told Japanese officials of different levels that he was grateful for the invasion by Japan as it gave the CCP breathing room to survive the Nationalist Party's crackdown on the communist operatives. And it also united China in a sense against the invaders, which eventually led to the CCP taking over. And that's, of course, after the Nationalist Party lost its fighting power post-World War II. But what they also don't tell you in China publicly is that while the nationalists were fighting most of the battles against Japan, the CCP was in the countryside growing opium and growing their forces. Essentially, they let the other party do all the dirty work, and then they come in with the ripe fruit. So does the CCP really hate Japan? No, they're using it for propaganda purposes. And that's why I say it's now backfired, because we've come to a stage where the, I guess you would call it, let's say pretending this is a movie, right? You know, the evil guy that always creates this monstrosity, which in the end will consume them and then become the final boss in the end. This is like that. So using this direct form of hate to distract from its own factors that have led to the downfall of China and direct it towards outside factors. And, you know, if you think about this, it's even more bizarre, considering China just experienced powerful earthquakes of its own in Gansu province about 2 weeks before Japan's earthquake. Now, China experienced these about 6.4 magnitude earthquake in the northwest province of Gansu, which took the lives for about 200 plus people. And there was a lackluster rescue effort, and many villages and houses were destroyed too. Now, then there was even the corruption when it comes to internet users found that the donated clothing, including Canada Goose jackets, which were meant for the victims to get through the cold winter, ended up on officials' bodies. So they were pocketing supplies and goods that were donated for the victims. Did Japan laugh at China's misery then? Of course not. In fact, during the New Year's earthquake, Japanese TV stations had people holding signs in Mandarin, and they were broadcasting them to tell Chinese people living in Japan to get to safety and higher grounds. And even during the 2020 pandemic, there was a video. A Japanese girl was bowing 90 degrees to people. Of course, this is the highest sign of respect to anyone who would come in and donate to her for China's pandemic aid. That little girl is able to do that, yet we have tens of thousands of comments online that showed zero remorse for what they're saying. Now, both China and Japan are Asian countries, yet at times like these, it's civilization versus animosity, full on display. Now, that's not even the worst part. On New Year's Day, when the earthquakes happened, a Chinese TV host made a post saying, quote, "Karmic retribution coming, Japan experiences 7.4 magnitude earthquake." And this comment eventually got him fired from the TV station. Yet all the comments under the video, they were supporting him and saying things like, "We support you, there's nothing wrong here," all sorts of things. So in fact, since his firing, he's gained 6 to 7 million new followers on Douyin, TikTok's China version. So I would say that there is a clear conscience within people in China that support this stuff. Now, I'm not saying everybody in China supports this type of nationalistic hatred, but they're not expressing those feelings publicly or offering condolences publicly simply because that's going to draw a lot of criticism onto themselves. And so I'm not saying that there's no nice people in China who don't agree with what's happening online, but that's the trend here, right? What we're seeing taking place on a massive scale, proportion-wise. So people that, like this TV host, is being painted as a hero who, quote unquote, spoke the truth, even if that truth neglects facts. But that's the radical stage of China today. There's even a saying in China, right, called mountains and rivers are in different lands, but the sun and moon are in the same sky. The meaning behind this saying is that we're all living in sorts of different worlds, different societies, but ultimately we share the earth, the sun and the moon, and the sky, and eventually the universe. The point here is to say that we should really consider sharing some common sense with other people around the world. It sounds more humane than Xi Jinping's "a community with a shared future for mankind." But I don't think Chinese people who are, following this nationalistic feeling do think this way. And I don't think this is going to be temporary. In fact, I think the worse the Chinese economy gets, the worse the social conditions, or the worse they regress, I guess, the more radical nationalism we'll see. China's GDP right now is about 66% of the US GDP, which is down about 10% from 2021. And this also comes as the average hiring salary in China decreases in across 30 plus cities. Now, people need a place to direct their hate. And of course, they don't want it to be directed towards the government and the party. So why not just make it go outwards towards the eternal enemies like the United States, Japan, and whoever else? That's the natural path of communist China. Return to Mao, return to the craziness of the Cultural Revolution, and more bizarre human-to-human interactions will come out of China. It's a circus show. And that's it today for the episode on China's hate towards Japan. Its animosity in times of natural disaster still shows. If you enjoy the content, leave a like, comment below your thoughts, and subscribe to our channel. Until next time, bye-bye.